Hi, this is Kathleen from Bailey Academy, mom of 5, homeschooling 2 of them, ages 12 and 15. Today I am participating in a collab by Cynthia at the Mission Field Home, and her and other YouTubers, homeschool YouTubers, are going to be sharing about their book recommendations for homeschool parents. And so I have a stack of both Christian and secular, and one that's kind of like in between books to share with you. So I'll keep the Christian and secular books separate so that you can skip to whatever part that applies to you. So sorry about the weird lighting. It's very rainy outside. Got my light, but it's shining in my eyes. So see if we can work this out. Okay, first of all, I'm going to do the secular books. So if you're looking for Christian books, skip ahead. And I will try to mark it if I can figure out how. Okay, so the first one I have, not all of these are homeschool specific books, but they're ones that have worked well to help out a homeschool parent. Some of them are homeschool specific. So we have Learning How to Learn, a guide for kids and teens. How to succeed in school without spending all your time studying. Okay, so this is actually for kids and teens, like I said, not for the parent, but I loved reading it myself, and I learned lots of things in it, and I think parents should read it as well. This is by Barbara Oakley, PhD, and she has, if you prefer not to read your learning, she has an online course, Learning How to Learn, as well, that you or children could take, and I will try to link it below in the description. It is completely free. And so she teaches them how to help. Why sometimes letting your mind wander is an important part of the learning process. How to avoid rut think in order to think outside the box. Why having a poor memory can be a good thing. And a simple yet powerful way to stop procrastinating. So this was an awesome book. I already knew of the author because I'd read her other book on Mind for Numbers years ago. And then when I saw that she had an online course, I stumbled upon her. Found out she had a book to go with it. And yeah, I'm on her email list and everything. The thing I bookmarked here. Kids with ADHD sometimes like to imagine that their focus pinball table has a few extra holes in it. Okay, so you're kind of missing the part where they explain that part. But these holes offer a hidden advantage. They boost creativity. If you have ADHD, the extra holes also mean you need to work your mental flippers a little more often than other kids to keep your thought ball on the focus table. So anyways, the point was that ADHD has lots of creativity. Again, it makes more sense if you read the whole book. But yeah, this had lots in it, and I plan to read it with the kids as well at some point, like part of our enrichments or something like that. So definitely recommend that. I also have The Homeschool Advantage by Colleen Kessler, a child-focused approach to raising lifelong learners. And where does it say what it's about? That's helpful. So this is a homeschool specific book, and it talks about a couple different things, why we should homeschool, or why some people should homeschool, exploring strengths, finding wonder, love of learning, play matters, 6 key learning skills, which he calls the 6 C's. Can creativity be taught? Embracing adventure, the family team, the most important thing, and start now. So while this could be definitely be designed to be read before you start homeschooling, it's absolutely okay to read it while you're already homeschooling. It has lots of, things. I even highlighted some stuff. Says, I want to empower them in the knowledge that they should never know everything because there's always more to know. I liked that sentence. And then, content is learned best when it's meaningful. And when we focus on testing, it becomes meaningless. Kids take tests in isolation without the benefits of collaboration, communication, or critical and creative thinking. Then they're just regurgitating facts and figures. Is there anything else that I can highlight? I don't think so. But yeah, there was lots in here, and I really liked this book. So I recommend that one. Another secular book I have is Read Well, Think Well. This is not a homeschool book. Build your child's reading, comprehension, and critical thinking skills. All things that my children really needed. So when I saw this book, I was like, yeah, I'm going to try this. It says, it's not just about reading, it's about learning to think. Millions of children struggle with reading and even more struggle to understand exactly what we're reading. Read Well, Think Well will help you to teach your children to build the essential reading and comprehension skills they need to succeed in today's demanding school system. Teacher trainer and literacy specialist Hal W. Lance, PhD, provides the necessary knowledge, strategies, and exercises that will turn your kids into first-rate readers and thinkers. So you learn how to choose the best age-appropriate reading material, which is a good thing for a homeschooler parent. Boost your child's memory and retention skills through verbal and visual exercises. Utilize technology aids to help your child understand the comprehension process. Understand the big 6 skills of reading comprehension as learned through analysis and summary of the text. And promote values for every life through reading. So it's been a while since I read this one, but as you can see, I marked this one up too. And let's see, what did I highlight or mark? Oh, okay, so this one's a little hard to read out loud here, but it says, we find, I can't read the first sentence or whatever, but talking about finding pleasure in things. So the same is true for reading. If it's a pleasurable experience, it will be repeated. But if reading provokes anxiety, we will avoid it the same way we avoid any unpleasant situation. So for somebody who has trouble reading or can't find the kind of reading that they want to read, of course they don't want to read. But those of us like me who love reading and find it easy, are going to find it pleasurable, and therefore going to read more. So if you can find a way to make reading pleasurable, and the book explains a little more about that, then it helps the child want to read more for sure. So this book was really good. Understanding reading comprehension, it's not as easy as you think. And it talks about background knowledge, picking appropriate books, modern literacy from websites to video games, memory games, study skills, multiple intelligences, and there's a chapter just on boys and reading as well, and a chapter on learning disabilities. So this was a good choice if you want to learn more about reading comprehension. Okay, where did my list go? I also loved, there's the next book, still secular. The next book is How to Homeschool in Canada. I don't have it anymore because I passed it on. I'll put a picture. But it didn't per se help me because I read it after I've been already homeschooling for a few years. But I highly recommend it if you are planning to homeschool in Canada or thinking about homeschooling in Canada and you're not sure what the first steps are, what you can and can't do, what, you just really don't know where to start. So if that's you, then How to Homeschool in Canada is a great book for that. And I happen to be friends with the author, but I do think she wrote a well-written book. And so that moves on to the one that's kind of in between Christian and secular, and that's Homegrown, Guidance and Inspiration for Navigating Your Homeschool Journey, edited by Amber O'Neill Johnston. So I say it's in between because it's a bunch of essays from different homeschoolers. So some may be Christian, some are not. It's been a while since I read it, so I can't remember specifically if anybody specifically mentioned things, but okay, so this one says they took Bible and ministry classes at a local church. But it's not teaching you in a Christian way. It's just people talking about their homeschooling journey. And this was a really good book. I love seeing different people's opinions and strategies and stuff. So we have, you may have recognized the names of some of the people that are, there's some by the author, Amber O'Neill Johnston, Julie Bogart, excuse me, Ainsley Arment, Ginny Urich, Leah Bowden, and a bunch of people that I hadn't heard of. Oh, Sally Clarkson, I'm sure you've heard of her if you're not new. But yeah, a bunch of people I haven't heard of, but that had amazing things to share. Definitely recommend this one. Whether you're new or not. Even a seasoned homeschooler can enjoy this one. All right, moving on to the Christian books. So if you aren't into Christian books, you can just skip right to the end or go to check out the playlist to see other people's thing. And if you're just popping in here to the Christian because you skipped the secular, hello. The Christian books that I recommend are Modern Miss Mason by Leah Bowden. Discover how Charlotte Mason's revolutionary ideas on home education can change how you and your children learn and grow together. And so this, as you can probably guess if you know anything about homeschooling, is about her educating with Charlotte Mason's methods. So, as a young mother and new home educator, Leah Bowden was overwhelmed by the breadth of available resources. How to know what to choose. When she discovered the timeless work and words of Charlotte Mason. A groundbreaking and revolutionary voice, Charlotte breathed life and beauty back into childhood in a stiff, archaic age. Yeah. Okay, you'll find methods to explore learning through books, being outdoors, and living experiences. Discover how to plan each child's unique learning journey and learn how to incorporate Charlotte's timeless philosophy into your home every day. So whether or not you have read Miss Charlotte Mason's books, this can be a good way to learn more about it if you're finding it too hard because it's a heavy read to read her books. Or if you just want more information on somebody who's actually using her methods, this is a good book for that. And although it is a Christian book, there's still plenty you could get out of it if you are not Christian, like tons of it. But of course she's going to talk about, Bible and Christianity and stuff like that. But it is not like overly Christian. And there's the end of each chapter has, where is it? Take a Mason moment, suggestions for that, like whatever you learned in that particular chapter. So it has like actual suggestions of what you can do. Another one is, I'm actually just reading right now, Becoming Homeschoolers. Give your kids a great education, a strong family, and a life they'll thank you for later, by Monica Swanson. I just picked this one up myself as I'm about almost halfway through it. I can say that this is definitely more for people who are not homeschooling yet or just started homeschooling and want some ideas, or people who are considering it. But I'm still enjoying the read. And it talks more about, where's the table of contents? Deciding to homeschool, things like reasons to homeschool your kids, things homeschoolers get to avoid, reasons families don't try homeschooling or don't stick with it, and 3 simple steps to becoming homeschoolers. And then I've just started the preschool to college section where each chapter is about a different age group. And then there's everything else you need to know, beyond core curriculum, good and healthy, variations on homeschooling, a day in the life, and the final nudge. And then there's a whole bunch of resources and stuff too. So I'm enjoying this one. And even though I haven't finished it, I would still recommend it, especially if you're on the newer part of your journey. This one is, like I said, these are Christian books, but again, I still feel like you could get something out of it if you wanted, but I mean, it's good. And I also have probably heard of this one if you're Christian, Mother Culture, still reading that one, For a Happy Homeschool by Karen Andriola. So this one is very Christian. So, but it is like short chapters. How to explain it? A skillful art of how a mother looks after the ways of her household. With a thinking love, she creates a culture in her home all her own. A mother does a lot of taking care, so she needs to take care of herself too. As a mother is feeding and cultivating the souls of her children, she is nourishing her own soul with ideas, while taking a little time for her own play and creativity. Nourished and refreshed, she keeps growing closer to God and into the Christian woman God is designing her to be. So this book is not just about homeschooling, it's about, keeping a home, being a good mother, all kinds of things. But each chapter is short, tells you, she's got beautiful illustrations or whatever in it. And then after the little bit that it tells you, that you read, it has, where is it? A question that you can use for further reflection and notes on other books or things that she, got information from or that's cited. So it's like a study, and it's the whole idea behind the whole mother culture or personal curriculum idea that's been floating around everywhere, but not just the homeschool circle. Keeping yourself learning as well. Recommend this one. And I have a couple other ones that I couldn't find the book or I gave it away, so I will put pictures up here. The first one is Know and Tell by Karen Glass. It's technically a Christian book, and she does talk about Christianity. It's not, I don't think you need to be Christian to read it, though. It's about the art of narration. So if you know anything about Charlotte Mason, they do narration, and where, instead of doing reading comprehension questions, when you're done reading something, the child starts off with verbal narrations. They're shorter, they get longer, they get more detailed of what they read, and then they work up to written narrations. And it's, it's basically just that, but there's so much more to it that the book goes really into it. And if you're thinking of doing narrations, you really need to read that book. Another one is The 4-Hour School Day. This one is not what I was expecting, but it was still a good read. So I was expecting a book on how to have a 4-hour school day. That's not what it was. But it's good Christian homeschooling inspiration or reflection or something. I don't know what the right word is, but it was a good book if you are Christian and are homeschooling and want a little bit of that. Basically, more relaxed homeschooling idea. Did I forget anything? I did that book. I think that's all the books that I can think of or that I still have. I have read other books on education. They're more school focused, so I didn't include those. But these are the ones that are really either homeschool related or really helpful to homeschoolers. And so I recommend all of those books. And if you have read any of them, let me know in the comments. If you want to read any of them, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you think about my suggestions. And if you have a book that you have read that is not in my list, I would definitely want to hear about that as well. And don't forget to go to the description as well for the playlist so that you can see everybody else talking about their books for homeschool parents. And I'll see you later. Bye.